So we'll be hopefully able to see that. But we believe that Fulham have not got any flags of their own. So we'll be out flagging them if nothing else.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes me think of it'd be good if anyone can spot either themselves or like novelty characters from the Super League clubs that they support and stuff in the cutaways of the crowds. Get in touch, make sure you flag it so we can chat about it on the shows.
We don't give a shit about Phil Clark, so I don't want to see him again.
Let's roll through some sort of signings news and that sort of stuff now. So, do you want to start with what Leeds have been doing?
Yeah, everyone's favourite drop kicker, hooker Brad Dyer, has signed a new 2-year deal at Leeds Rhinos, which will run until the end of the 2022 Super League season. Dyer, who's 27, joined the Rhinos in 2018 from Warrington.
Catalans have handed first-team contracts to 4 of their young prospects ahead of the Super League restart. Corentin Lecam, Mathieu Cossa, Joe Chan and Matthew Liguer have featured for the club's reserves team this year, have linked up with the first team training and agreed 2.5-year contracts with the club.
Some perfect French names there that I'm looking forward to. Corentin Lecam possibly is. I mean, he could become the new Frenchiest Frenchman. just based on name alone. Swinton have announced the signing of former Bradford Academy in Halifax reserve winger Jacob Smiley, another great name. The 21-year-old qualifies to represent Jamaica at international level and will be eager to earn an opportunity at championship level in 2021 with the Lions. So hopefully he can bring some Smiley culture to Swinton.
He might not be smiling because of today's update to that, because meanwhile, Italy winger Richie Lapori, 28, has committed to the Lions for the 2021 campaign, so competition for places there.
Well, when you're Smiley, the whole world smiles with you.
Con Mika has played his last game for Toulouse. The club announced his departure after 4 years. Is he only 30?
Is he flip? Is he 30? No way.
It's not, is he? He's older than that. The 36-year-old, let's be honest, former OKR forward, made 96 appearances for the French side, scored 26 tries, and will now link up with French Elite 1 club Villeneuve.
Fair enough. Bradford Bulls have announced that young outside back Joe Brown has signed a new 12-month deal with the club. The 21-year-old returned to the Bulls last year at spell at Wigan Warriors, was a regular starter with John Keir in the 2020 season before the Championship and League One campaigns were cancelled.
Yeah, he's a good talent. But Swinton have taken another talent away from Bradford. They've signed young halfback Kobe Green for the 2021 season. The 21-year-old scrum half has made his international debut for Wales last year in the World Cup Nines and will make the switch to Swinton next season. God, they're going to be a United Nations, aren't they, over at Swinton?
Yeah, all power to them.
Yeah.
Seen this kid a couple of times because he played for Coventry on loan back end of last year. And he's certainly got the talent. He lacks a little bit in size, being so young, and a little bit of game awareness, but that's something that will only come the more he plays. But he's definitely got the skills, and he's a young Welsh halfback, and we haven't got enough of those. And he was mentored by Paul Emanuele, so the former South Wales Scorpions, Coventry, and 10 other places player. So I think he's definitely got what it takes to be a success there.
Good luck to him.
Halifax have launched a club investigation after complaints following a tweet made by back rower Ed Barber on Thursday night. It comes after both club and player received communication from the RFL asking for an explanation over his comments before deciding whether to launch an investigation of their own in response to a story about the revised lockdown rules in Greater Manchester, which has now moved several hundred miles the other way, if according to ITV's map.
It's swapped.
Yeah, East Lancashire and parts of West Yorkshire. Barber tweeted, don't know why I have to even read this out. Do you know what? I'm not going to, if you want to look it up, you can look it up. He tweeted something stupid. Barber's comments, since removed, were challenged by several on social media, including England international Jermaine McGilvray. I mean, for fuck's sake. Really?
I think he claimed, or has tried to claim, that what he meant was those areas were all full of people breaking lockdown rules, But yeah, going alongside the sort of re-emphasized social media and also inclusion and diversity programs and all those sorts of things that the RFL have been publicising recently, it kind of, I mean, it
didn't, looking down his Twitter at the time, it didn't look like the first time he'd had those sorts of opinions.
Yeah.
There were other things on there that were not wholly conducive with a family game approach. Let's say that much.
Yeah, and we've spoken about this before, how people can sort of hold their own individual views, but ultimately they represent... There's a code of practice in place for the organisation they want to be a part of, and so to be a part of it, you should follow it.
And if you want to be a professional rugby league player, you're held to a higher standard. That's the fact. And if you don't like that higher standard, there's other things you can go and do with your life. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have any given right to play rugby league. Unfortunately, at that level, you have responsibilities. That's a fact. It's the same with other things, with people behaving stupidly. You know, you've got to be sensible, and if you hold those opinions, don't hold them on social media. It's not bloody hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, this does make me very cross, so I'm going to move on swiftly.
Yeah, into League One. Rochdale Hornets have announced that Lewis and Declan Sheridan have signed new deals, keeping them at the club until the end of the 2021 season. Lewis caught the eye after joining the League One side from amateur club Rochdale Mayfield in 2019, whilst Declan is in his first season with the Hornets. Also, Ben Calland, Luke Foden and Callum Ogden have all joined the Sheridans by signing up for the 2021 campaign with the Hornets.
Yeah, Ottawa have announced the signing of Feverson halfback Louis Jouffret. The French international becomes the Aces' first ever player capture and joins the club for their inaugural campaign in 2021. The 24-year-old previously played in the UK with Whitehaven and Batley.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be a string of 8 or 9 announcements over the next fortnight that Ottawa will be kind of juicing their fans with ahead of next season. But it's a player who clearly can play at the championship level who's going to be playing at the League One level, so it's similar-ish to what Toronto did. Hopefully it works out better with
they've again gone for that French connection, just for trying to endear themselves to the Ottawa fan base. Everything is bilingual up there, as one of our friends from Toronto, I can't remember which one of them it was, said last week.
Scott's up in Ottawa.
Yeah. So we'll see what that's all about next year, but that'll be interesting. I'm really primed up for a trip to Ottawa next year, so I'm hoping that everything is in place, that it's a viable prospect.
Yeah, definitely.
The Brisbane Broncos have announced that... Oh, that's you.
Brisbane have announced that outside back Herbie Farnworth has signed a new 2-year deal at the club. The 20-year-old was born and raised in the UK and was originally on the books at football side Manchester United. You learn something new every day. Before making the move to Australia to pursue a career in rugby league. I don't think he moved to Australia to pursue a career in rugby league. I think he pursued a career in rugby league after moving to Australia. Sure.
I think, he moved there because his parents moved there, was what I understood.
Anyway, either way, he's showing his wares, isn't he, in that division. After making his debut last season, he's become a regular in Brisbane's lineup so far this year, playing across the back line and starting to make serious impacts. We're talking about him every week, not just because he's a British player now as well. He's doing some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that can only help us from an international point of view. The more strength we can get that's being exposed to that highest level of competition, the better England and Great Britain, if Great Britain ever come back, will be in the future. Reports in Australia claim that Ricky Latelli is owed around £40,000 by Toronto as he edges closer to signing for Melbourne. Latelli was a star signing for the Canadian club in 2019, playing a key role in their promotion to Super League. According to a report by the Sydney Daily Telegraph's Phil Rothfield, Latelli hasn't been paid for more than 2 months and has received an eviction notice from his landlord after Wolfpack stopped paying his rent. Agent Sam Ayoub says there are some remaining obstacles to NRL reportedly reluctant to register him due to a salary cap valuation issue, although it's understood the governing body are preparing to climb down to allow Latelli to sign for Melbourne. And we did have a fan view in on this one.
Yeah, Tom Andrews said, I know he won't be the only player, but as it's the one where the figures are out, I feel it's worth a comment. To actively stop paying a man's rent to the point of eviction when he has a young family is unforgivable. Someone at Wolfpack has actively had to stop it. As I've previously mentioned, I'm neutral on expansion, but when you hear stories like this, I'm more in the send them back to League One brigade. This isn't about expansion, is it? This is about...
It's about their business operations and how they govern their business. Yeah.
And it's a bad way to treat the people. Unfortunately, as well, he's probably overvalued salary cap wise because he's probably slightly overpaid.
Yeah, well, he will be because they had to overpay him to get him to go in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's then, of course, it's a cyclical issue, unfortunately, that one has drive the other. Anyway, on to some good news.
Yes, and finally, the Rugby League World Cup 2021 has launched its very own educational programme designed to inspire and motivate the next generation of Rugby League fans across schools in the UK. Ahead of the tournament next year, comprising of the men's, women's and wheelchair competitions, all happening simultaneously, of course, for the first time, the Rugby League World Cup 2021 is working closely with teachers across the country to produce themed classes which capture the cultural and geographic scope of this unique tournament. Hopefully a teacher close to you, Tim, will be able to make use of these resources.
Hopefully.
The engaging curriculum linked resources will be available across the country to download now as teachers plan for the return of schools in September. As a global tournament, the resources harness the excitement for the World Cup as well as reflect the cultural diversity of the tournament to celebrate the heritage of the sport. I mean, we have great diversity and heritage within the tournament, you know, with the island nations with their prayers and hymns, with the wheelchair tournament and
Jamaica being involved this time as well. Brazil in the women's
and
is going to
in the women's kind of
add a dimension to it. Yeah, so it's going to be great. Yeah, I hope that schools will pick up on this because I think it's just an easy thing. I know from Heather's experience, because she's a form tutor, and it's quite a diverse school. And so at the Cricket World Cup and the Women's World Cup in the football last year, her form all got behind that and were able to pick nations, and they had a wall chart up and everything. So if we can get them to do the same for the Rugby League World Cup in a year and a bit's time, then that'll be all good.
Yes, it will. So well done to the organisers there, putting something together to help spread the message within schools. Great positive story to finish on.
For Rugby League, this is blooming planned and organised, isn't it? It's all a bit professional. It just doesn't feel quite on brand, does it? Given every other part of the administration is lurching from 1 hour to the next. It's nice and refreshing to see such a clean through line and such thought process behind everything.
Yeah, definitely. It's a breath of fresh air in the sport, isn't it, this Rugby League World Cup? As was the one 8 years ago, so hopefully we can keep building on this. Yeah. And these administrators don't get lost to the sport this time around. Okay, thanks for everyone to Tom for getting his views on the news. Keep your eyes across all the sort of normal news places. Give them clicks at 4020 News, Love Rugby League and Total RL. Give them your clicks and your reads as well. And then let us know what you think of the news so we can discuss it on next week's show. Tim, I'm so excited. For the first time in what feels like forever, I get to say, and now we'll move on to the Super League match reviews.
Dun dun dun!
Okay, so it's Super League match reviews in an abbreviated form this week. We've just got 2 games to talk about, but hey, we've got 2 games to talk about, so let's get to them. And it restarted on Sunday afternoon at Emerald Headingley Stadium, and it was St Helens versus Catalans, the first game that we got to see of the Super League since we last saw Super League, which was St Helens versus Castleford, and it actually finished pretty one-sided in the end for the reigning champions. It was 16-0 at half-time, and that became 34-6 at full-time.